What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with another Destiny 2 video, and of course this week we get the launch of Heresy Act 3, so we're now going into the final stage of Heresy really, in terms of the story delivery and the new content rollout, which is symbolic not only in terms of wrapping the Heresy story up, but also everything that it will lead to later on in the act. So of course Bungie have revealed things like Ride of the Nine, a late season update, and ultimately this path will also lead us to the next expansion reveal, so it's going to be an interesting few weeks for the game, although we will need some patience as not everything will release at once, so we'll round some of that stuff up in the video, as well as updates that we'll get for the game this week, new details from Bungie, plus as always we'll touch on the patch, server downtime, and a few other things inside of the video. So if you guys enjoy this one, a rating below really does help us out. Get subscribed as well, as we're going to have plenty of stuff to cover in the coming weeks, but otherwise, now let's get into it. And initially, for the launch of Act 3, alongside it, we will get another game update, so hopefully the servers are going to play ball this week, and we won't have any extended downtime, although time will tell. But we are getting update 8253, of course, partially that will help to load in the Heresy Act 3 content, but it will also come with additional changes. So, as Bungie outlined initially, they're taking the opportunity to tune rewards in Expert Nether and Court of Blades, and the overall goal is to give players more chances to get weapons, adepts, and they say it will tie specifically with our output, so these are performance-based reward changes, essentially. So, after the update today, we'll have higher chances for adepts the better we perform, so later boss chests in Expert Nether will have greatly increased adept chances, and higher score tiers, including gold and platinum within Court of Blades, will do the same, and they say additionally, players will have higher chances for an additional weapon reward at higher tiers within Court of Blades. So the grind for adept weapons, hopefully, will be improving with Act 3 right here. Keep in mind, Bungie have spoken only about the expert variants of these, so I'm not sure if those changes will also affect the standard versions of the activities, but if you are after shiny drops or adepts, this should be a pretty useful change. I guess as well it will also encourage players to get further into these activity completions as opposed to farming the first chest in the Nether, for instance. As Bungie have said, they'll be touching the later chests. Either way, it should make Act 3 the most rewarding so far in terms of actual weapon drops, so that is the first thing to keep in mind. We'll touch on more of the Heresy content in just a moment, but Bungie have confirmed additional changes for the update today. The first will be for Redrix's S-Stock, which has been incredibly strong in the Crucible, and that's going to get some more tune-ins, so they're reducing the range at base on the weapon by 8. So that'll go from 54 to 46. Handling will be reduced by 5 as well, and aim assist will drop a little bit by just 2 points, but these will certainly be felt on the weapon, especially with the additional changes they're making to Lone Wolf. So they're reducing the base aim assist bonus from 10 to 5, and the aim assist bonus when we're not near teammates will go from 20 to 10, although they're increasing the base airborne effectiveness bonus from 10 to 15, and increasing the AE bonus when not near teammates from 20 to 30. So in combination with the base weapon changes for Redrix's S-Stock, that will be a net decrease of 7 aim assist when paired with the base Lone Wolf, and a decrease of 12 from its maximum strength. And they say the enhanced version of the perk has been altered correspondingly as well, so we'll see how that plays out, but it sounds like S-Stock will finally get a nerf significant enough to move the needle inside of PvP. Let us know your thoughts. Otherwise, Bungie are also changing the closing time perk, and they're reducing the benefits by 50% on special weapons, so that's quite a big change. And there's also an adjustment for machine guns, where those with a magazine size of 80 or less will now get 22 rounds from a heavy ammo crate, so there'll be a bit less ammo around for them in order to combat their potency as a heavy choice in the Crucible. So those are just the changes Bungie have confirmed for now. More than likely, there'll be some additional ones, as well as hopefully some more fixes for Heresy content. So I will keep you posted with the full patch notes when we get to them after the reset. Now to talk about some of the Heresy Act 3 content. Firstly, Bungie have confirmed that Ride of the Nine will arrive later in Act 3, and we've got a brewing Hive Civil War to deal with first. So the indication essentially is that Bungie are getting us through the Heresy content initially, which as we've discussed will more than likely be 2 or 3 weeks of additional story, ultimately leading to the main conclusion of the Heresy storyline. And after that, we'll get into some of the other content Bungie have outlined for the late season refresh, which will include Ride of the Nine, the heavy metal game mode, and potentially some other things as well. Plus, when we get to that, I feel like there's a much better chance Bungie will start to talk about the next expansion for the game, so not too long to go now, and we'll finally start to get some of those details. details. In terms of the Heresy content specifically this week, Bungie are introducing the Sunless Cell Strike, so it'll be cool to check out the changes for Destiny 2 and to see how that plays into the sort of Heresy rewards part, whether we'll be able to farm that strike for additional Heresy drops or whether it will behave like a normal kind of Nightfall strike. We do know there will be a Grandmaster, so obviously it will form part of the normal Nightfall rotation as well, but there could be a little more to it given that this is a core piece of Heresy content. Also, alongside the story that'll roll out for part of Act 3, we should get the final set of Dreadful Discoveries quests this week too, so that's one of the triumphs for the Heresy title. We weren't sure of the rollout for this initially, but obviously we've learned that these are gated to each of the acts, so at some point in the story in the next couple of weeks, we'll get some bonus side quests, and when we complete them, we'll unlock that triumph, which also has an additional legendary ship reward, so that'll be a cool extra component in the next couple of weeks. And on top of that, in the Nether, we're going to get a new zone, which will be explorable. So this is the Hull Breach, which was previously the starting zone for the Dreadnought in the Taken King. And it's a fully fleshed out Nether bubble, so there'll be new sort of challenges, encounters, and bosses in that zone, as well as collectible items. And we know that there'll be some additional worm spawn that we can pick up in there as well. So it'll be cool to finally round that stuff out, and those worm spawn will form sort of part of the quests for the Barrow Dyad upgrades that have yet to drop. So we're going to get the One for All and Target Lock refits for the Barrow Dyad. It'll probably be the case that they'll roll out week over week, so we might get the first one this week and the second one next week, but the first objective for each of the quests for those is to find the additional Ravenous Worm Spawn in the new zone for a total of 10 of both Tithing and Ravenous Worm Spawn. So if you want to be ready for those quests ahead of them dropping, make sure you've collected all of the existing ones in the Nether bubbles that we have right now, then the additional couple that we'll get from the Hull Breach will start those quests off. Otherwise, we can anticipate story revelations and potentially other secrets and unlocks as part of Act 3, so we'll discover those as we play. Separately though, keep in mind, we'll get another week of Iron Banner this reset, so April 1st, we'll see the second Iron Banner of the episode, granting renewed chances at the new weapons like Warlord Spear, or indeed Tenacious Mastery if you're still looking for a good roll of that, so something else to go after on that front this week, and I think Iron Banner will actually come back right at the back end of April, which will be its final time in the episode. And following that, I believe in the early part of May, that's more than likely when we'll start to get into some of the Ride of the Nine things and the additional content to wrap up the end of Heresy, although it's best to wait for confirmation of dates and things from Bungie. For today though guys, that's what we have to speak about, so if you've enjoyed the video, a rating below really does help us on the channel. Feel free as well to get subscribed so that I can keep you posted with more Destiny content. Otherwise though, for now, I very much appreciate you guys tuning in today, and otherwise, I will catch you guys very soon.